I call this meeting to order at 6:34 p.m. We will now move into Section 2. Swearing in, there is none. We will now move into Section 3, roll call.
When I call your name, please respond. Senator Luna?
Present.
Senator Fan?
Present.
Senator Otten?
Present.
Senator Beam?
Present.
Senator Tijuana?
Present.
Senator Sauls?
Present.
Senator Peng?
Present.
Senator Argumedo?
Present.
Senator Mallard?
Present.
Senator Owens?
Present.
Senator Brown? Senator Kasiro-Safar?
Present.
Senator Miller?
Present.
Senator Seals? Senator Sheikh?
Present.
Senator Hansen?
Present.
Senator Beatty?
Present.
Senator Arteaga?
Present.
Senator Boyd? Senator Haynes?
Present. Present.
Senator Mungarevani?
Present.
Senator Sadat? Senator Hatch?
Present.
Senator Lewis?
Present.
The total number of senators present is 22. Our simple majority is 11. Our two-thirds majority is 15.
Thank you. We will now move into Section 4, messages from the student body president. There is none. And we will now move into the elections announcement.
That was a little tall. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bella Kilman, and I'm the Chief Elections Commissioner. Pursuant to my duty mentioned in the Legislative Journal, I'm here to brief the Association on the official midterm election announcement. For reference, the Commission is governed by Article 9 of the SJA bylaws, the Association's elections. Tonight's briefing will include information regarding any and all positions to be contested in this election, all qualifications to seek election for these positions, the process of obtaining and submitting applications for candidacy, specific dates of events and deadlines for the elections. For the 2025 midterm election, the following seats are contested for election: College of Applied Studies, 6, College of Business, 5, College of Engineering, 1, College of Fine Arts, 1, College of Health Professions, 2, College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, 1, Graduate School, 1, International, 1, and Freshman, 2. To be a candidate for senator, an association member must be currently enrolled student as defined by the college or school in which the member is enrolled, and must have and maintain a 2.5 cumulative GPA, or have and maintain good standing in graduate school as defined by the graduate school catalog, except in cases when the candidate is an incoming student and does not have a GPA. In such a case, it shall be necessary for the incoming student to be admitted in good standing as defined by the university. Tomorrow, August 28th, the SGA election website will include all forms and documents needed to be officially declared for candidacy in order to secure a spot on the ballot. Every individual candidate must submit the declaration for candidacy via Shocker Sync by September 18th. There we go, at 5 o'clock p.m. The Commission will be hosting one intent to run session for those who are interested in running to attend. The only session we're hosting is on September 3rd. Additionally, there will be one rules and regulations session, which is mandatory for candidates to attend to learn more about what is and isn't allowed while running, and that will be hosted on September 19th. Please note that the ballot during this election will only be made available to members of the association within open seats. The midterm election itself will take place from Monday, September 29th at 8 a.m. to Wednesday, October 1st at 5 o'clock p.m. The preliminary outcome of the midterm election will be announced at the conclusion of the election. For any questions, please email sga.elections@wichita.edu. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move into Section 5, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, a senator may seek recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into Section 6, public forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for the Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. Before we move into public forums, I would like to remind individuals gathered here today that for organizations, I am limiting public forum to 3 minutes per organization collectively. Once their time limit is up, I will gently gavel you, and then we will move into the question period for you all. The question period will be 3 minutes maximum as well. With that, we will now move to the first public forum presentation from Christian Challenge.
Awesome. Okay. Good evening. My name is Whitney Salmons, and I am serving as the president of Christian Challenge. My RSO was awarded $1,589 for the upcoming fiscal year. I would like to appeal that award, and am requesting $4,000. I believe that Christian Challenge is an invaluable part of this campus and would like to use this time to lay out the way that we serve the students here and what we will be using the $4,000 for. Christian Challenge far exceeds the expectations of a Tier 3 RSO. Every Thursday, we hold weekly general meetings that are open for all WSU students to attend and have reached upwards of 150 attendees. We also have 23 small groups that meet throughout the week where any student can get plugged into a group of 8 to 10 peers. These small groups are a place for students to receive peer-to-peer support, mentorship, participate in community service projects, and be vulnerable about the hurdles that they are facing in their lives. My life is a personal testimony to the impact that these groups have had on WSU students, as I now live with 4 of the girls I was in a small group with my freshman year. Christian Challenge hosts 7 on-campus events throughout the year, all free to WSU students. We have hosted 4 freshman events this semester already. Additionally, we host 5 events off-campus that we do fundraising for as they approach. The reason I emphasize this is because I know RSOs are encouraged to put on student events to add to the student life here at WSU, and creating places for community is at the heart of what Christian Challenge strives to do. Christian Challenge works hard to create relationships with community partners to fund these events. We have been able to run a free cafe, fund free to student events, and serve over 150 pancakes a week after our general meetings, also free to students, using those funds. Christian Challenge believes in raising up leaders and mentors. We have 2 weekend leadership summits for our student leadership every year, as well as alumni mentorship throughout the semester. Student leaders are encouraged to mentor underclassmen and build community on and off campus. The final thing that I'd like to touch on is our conference. Christian Challenge attends Fall Conference, a statewide conference for Christian Challenge chapters. The cost for a student to attend is $120. This includes housing for 2 nights, 5 meals, and t-shirts, and goes towards the cost of a speaker and the band. Travel is not included in this cost. The $4,000 would allow us to scholarship 33 students. The conference is a time when we can solidify membership and is an integral part of the WSU student building community through the services we offer. Thank you.
Will you stand for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions for Christian Challenge? Seeing none, thank you.
Awesome.
We will now move to the Cosplay Club. Should be up.
Hello, my name is Robert Hammond, the president of the Cosplay Club. I'm here to discuss the appropriations for the 2025-2026 academic year. But first, let me talk about a little bit about our organization and its goals. Cosplay is a multidisciplinary organization that provides opportunity and collaborations and community to all students at Wichita State University. We have engineers making props, marketing and digital designing students helping with our social media and production, along with business majors drafting of emails to conventions and organizations to set up a collaboration. Our goals have changed from the past years. Previously, we wanted people to enter competitions and compete at a higher level, but we've now shifted our focus to attracting newer people into cosplay and having a higher focus on introductory workshop series that teach and build upon itself. The skills that people learn in these workshops not only can help them with their own cosplays, but also compete in competitions. Our budget for the 2024-2025 academic year was $5,000, which we used to host 5 workshops, hold 3 large events with 50+ attendees, hold two photo shoots, and attend 5 conventions, collab with 2 organizations, and 1 business provided for students with cosplays as well. Our new asking amount is $8,385. We made this increase due to the fact that we are a growing group and we're getting more and more students into cosplay. We plan to ramp up the amount of activities for WC students to take part in like workshops or photo shoots. With this requested budget, we plan to do more workshops, have more collaboration with WC organizations, do more photo shoots, and do more for our students. The Finance Commission gave us $1,862 for this year, a far from the amount that we had last year, which was $5,000. This was a really effective amount of activities and events and workshops that we can do. We have shown from past years what we can do for our previous budget, and which is why we're hoping for a larger budget to provide students at WSU activities and events that not only help them gain skills that might use in or out of cosplay, but gain something from being inside this organization. I'm living proof of that. I joined this organization just wanting to learn how to get into cosplay, but I learned a lot more. I learned how to do sewing, foam working, 3D modeling, even public speaking. Please give us opportunity to reach more people like me and give them opportunities. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Are you standing for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions from the Cosplay Club? Seeing none, thank you. One question from Senator Brown.
Could you say your ask amount one more time?
Asking amount is, I believe, sorry about that, $8,385.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Senator Owens?
Hi, thank you for coming. Did you perhaps watch the appropriations deliberations, and were you able to kind of get the feedback from the commissioners, and what would you say really is the reason that they gave you the $1,862, and would you like to provide any clarity about maybe something that they may have missed or an additional information to provide?
I was not able to watch the deliberations for the senators. But some clarity value. Also, when we go to conventions, we also get discounts for the conventions because we're a large group going over there, bringing a lot of people. It's usually actually a lot cheaper than actual other groups going there as well. And it's also a great opportunity for students to get the opportunity to talk to other people, learn new things from actually things that the events they host over there.
Are there any more questions? Seeing none, thank you.
All right, thank you all for having me.
We will now go to the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Methman, and I am the current president of the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers here at Wichita State University. So a little bit about us, if you haven't heard about us before. We're a new organization on campus. The national organization was founded in November 2007 to help Asian heritage science and engineers professionals succeed in their endeavors. Our organization is dedicated to the advancement of Asian heritage STEM students in education and employment. By fostering an environment in learning and community, we hope to achieve everyone's full career potential. So a little bit about us. The Wichita State University chapter became an official RSO in April 2025 and was officially recognized by the state's national organization in early August. Earlier today, we held our first ever general meeting, and at our general meeting, we had over 64 attendees.
And by the numbers in our group we currently have 54 members. In our Instagram, we have 123. Every day, we earn more than 5 followers on each every day. Our impact and career development, our organizations existed for other affinity groups such as the NSB and SHEP and the Society of Women Engineers, but there was a need for similar organizations where students representing all of the Pan-Asian cultures could connect and support each other. That is where SACE comes in. In the previous appropriations, we were given 4,413, but we believe that we could use more. For our general meetings, we split them up for $100 per meeting, and we hope to have 10 meetings per semester, but this does not include other events. This money will go towards snacks, small food, and materials for interactive activities. Our next major expenses will be used for the SACE National Convention. Previously, we were hoping to take 12 attendees, but we cut down to 10 attendees, 5 rooms, and that trip would be $326 per person, being a total of $6,186.80. We're requesting that our budget be raised to $7,186.80. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move to the men's soccer club.
Good. Hey, my name's Dylan Busby. I'm the president of the men's soccer club. I've got a lot of concerns, facts, and emotions. I only have 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to go pretty fast. First off, massive disappointment. I sifted through 4 hours of the YouTube to see my club, which I spend 10 hours plus on every week, only discussed for about 30 seconds. I saw one member suggest a number less than half of our bare minimum amount, and no explanation as to why the funding we presented would not be reached. This frustration was then multiplied when I continued to watch a couple minutes and see the women's soccer club, which is the exact same club, but less members and less practices each week, get given $1,000 more, which just that alone makes 0 sense to me. I don't expect, I know it's the first year that the sports club funding has been decided by you guys. In the past, our club has been given the most out of any sports club. We are the biggest sports club on campus. To see the men's volleyball get their budget lifted by several thousand and then ours demoted by several thousand, even though we're a bigger club, we have more students, we have more competitive events. That was devastating for sure. The 3,200 number that was stated before the 11.7% deduction at the end came from 2 things, $2,500 for hotel costs and $700 for equipment. 4 expenses that they completely ignored without explanation was $1,000 for game officials. These are referees. These are required for home games. We cannot host home games without them. $2,500 for traveling expenses. Just for our regular season, we travel 37 hours, driving hours to other universities to play them. Without that funding, people will have to drive on their own dime and in their own cars. And then $2,000 for new jerseys. The jerseys we currently have were cheap when we bought them 4 years ago. As you can see, they are all ripped up and worn. Wear and tear just happens in physical sports. So we were really looking to get funding for that as well. Trent Kohler, who has previously managed the funding of the sports club, has given us the most because he knows we're the biggest and he directly sees the financials for all the sports clubs and knows that we needed the most finances. 10 years ago, this same club was given triple the amount, even though they had less traveling because all their opponents were in-state.
I'm sorry, time is up. We will now go to the question period. Are there any senators that are there any senators that had questions? Senator Beam.
Hi. Can you please go over again how much money you're asking for?
Asking for 8,000.
Are there any further questions? Senator Lewis.
So you said men's soccer, or your club has more members than the women's soccer club, yeah?
Yeah, we have over 50 active members. They're around 15, so quite a lot more.
I was just wondering because on Shocker Sync it says that the women's has almost twice as many as you do. So you might want to fix that.
And just a reminder, senators, please ask one question at a time. Are there any other senators that wish to ask questions? Senator Owens.
Hi, thank you for coming. I know the amount, 2,824, that was allocated to your organization. Can you share a little bit about what this academic year would look like for your organization if you weren't able to get an increase, or if since that was a number approved, so we can get a better idea of what that would mean and the impact there?
So 2,800 would effectively kill the club unless we've got about 15 people back there just to show up, because if we don't get that funding, these guys would have to pay out of their own pockets to even play this season. 2,800 is really nothing.
Are there any further questions? Senator Mallard.
Do you receive any external sponsorships?
Yeah, so I didn't get to that, but we actually our estimated expensive is actually north of 9,000. We only asked for 8,000. We do require player fees of $20 from each of our members, of around 50 members. And we also do external fundraisers ourselves every year. We just did one on Monday.
Are there any more questions? Senator Owens.
Could you give me an estimate about how much you raised from your Monday fundraiser, and maybe a little bit of what that was?
Yeah, so we have a member who set this up at Bob and Luigi's Pizza in Andover from 5 to 8. We got a percentage of all their sales from that time, and I don't have the exact numbers yet. They haven't given it to us yet, but it should be around 200.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Are there any more questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the WSU Women's Soccer Club.
Hello, we're the WSU Women's Soccer Club. I'm Jessica, and I am the VP of the club.
I'm Adrian. I am the president of the club.
All right, so originally we requested $7,500. After our presentation, we were told that we were going to be given $4,200, and after that 11.7% deduction, we were then dumped down to $3,708.60.
We just wanted to go over the budget a little bit more, break it down. So for our biggest expense is travel fees. We have 7 games. 4 of those are away across Missouri. We're talking like 6-7 hours of driving. 3 of those are home games. Totaled up the driving hours, it's over an entire day's worth of driving. If we're going over roughly $3 per gallon of gas, that's we carpool to save like money. And so if we're stopping every 3 hours for gas, we're talking $40 per gas up every 5 cars. That's $1,800 just in gas. When we travel, since it's such a far distance and we have games kind of in the same area, we want to stay over in places. So we're trying to do Airbnbs. If we're roughing it out, maybe $900 per night, because we have bigger teams. It's hard to find places that will accommodate for us. And we like to stay together in groups. So roughing it out with 900 per night, roughly, it'll be 3,600. Game officials, you have to pay people to do the games for us, and every single game it'll be $260 for the 3 people. So if we're doing 7 games, that'll be $1,820.
So all these things that we've previously mentioned, they're all pretty non-negotiable. And our final thing that we were mentioning is equipment. As you saw with those jerseys previously, our stuff is expendable. The balls pop, the cones get stepped on, the pennies rip. So all that in total with the equipment adds up to an overall total of $7,603.93.
So just kind of putting that all together, I feel for the men's team. I understand where they're coming from. As a club soccer, we do the most traveling of all sports or all the clubs. It is a lot of travel intense. It is a lot of money to do. And if we do not get all of our expenses, it is really hard to get officials for games. It's hard to go to games. A lot of people can't pay out of pocket. This is why we have such an accessible team for a lot of people. So if we're cutting the budgets, that means we're cutting games. And if we're cutting games, it's not really a soccer club. And so if we're cutting budgets, we're cutting clubs. Thank you.
Will you stand for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions? Senator Mallard?
Do you have external sponsorships?
We do fundraising. In the spring 2025, we participated in Interfest. And then 2 years ago, we did the pumpkin run.
Are there any more questions? Senator Lewis?
Did he say how many members your club has?
We have over 40 active members.
Are there any more questions? Senator Archimedo?
Does your members pay a fee to be part of the club?
Our members do not pay a fee. It is 100% free to play with us.
Yeah, that's also kind of why we have like so many members, because it's really accessible to everybody.
Are there any more questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the WSU Pre-Dental Student Association.
Hello everyone, I'm here on behalf of Pre-Dental Student Association at Wichita State. I am the event coordinator for the club, and then Ethan.
I'm the treasurer for us.
Our mission is to support students pursuing careers in dentistry by offering valuable resources, educational workshops, and hands-on experiences. Over the past years, we've seen a significant increase in member participation thanks to our events, including the AT prep sessions, guest speakers, mock interviews, and volunteer opportunities. With additional funding, we plan to expand our professional development workshops, host community service events, cover travel costs for dental school tours and symposiums. Due to no dental schools in Kansas, we will be traveling 3+ hours as an organization, usually in the early morning at 8 a.m., causing stays at the locations. We also provide materials for meetings and networking opportunities. Our travel expense.
Just to kind of touch on the dental school situation, like she said, there are no dental schools in the state of Kansas, and so if we do want to go to a dental school, we'll have to travel out of state. Closest ones are about 3 hours. That would be OU, UMKC, KCU. If we wanted to go further away, that'd be 5 to 6 hours in Nebraska, and then 9 hours to Colorado. And that's a lot of the reason why our expenditures for lodging are so expensive, is because we do expect overnight stays. It would be it would be unsafe to ask members to travel at early morning hours all by them. Well, we do have members that carpool, so they wouldn't be by themselves, but it would still be unsafe to ask them to travel at 4 or 5 in the morning to try and make it to a location at 8 o'clock. And of course, we want to reimburse their gas as well when they're carpooling. We don't want to make our members pay hand over fist for everything they do at these events. And that's another reason why we have gas listed as one of our expenditures. And then we do want to feed our members as we go on these events. We don't want to provide a meal for every event, so not lunch, dinner, breakfast, all that, just one. And we do want to give them a good meal as well, so maybe $25 per person. And we do have a really good turnout for these events. I know my freshman year, when we went to the UMKC symposium, we had about 20 people total show. And so the turnout is really good, and we're trying to budget for that. We initially asked for $12,000, and the total comes to about $10,000, a little bit over $10,000. Last year, we actually ran into some financial.
I'm sorry, your time is up. We will now go into the question period. Are there any questions for this organization? Senator Owens.
Hello again, thank you for coming. Could you just go back to the expense report area? I'm seeing like a pretty ambiguous $400 for the general meetings and the guest speakers. Can you elaborate a little bit more on those costs of what food you're looking at? Are you ordering chips and snacks from Walmart? Are you getting it catered? Or are you paying your guest speakers or anything like that?
So with those orders, we are catering at all of our general meetings and our guest speaker meetings. Guest speakers more so because we want to be hospitable, but across the board, we host our meetings at 5:30, and that's right around when people are getting off of work, heading home, and eating their food. We think it would be a good incentive to encourage active membership as well, participation at our meetings, because we do discuss a lot of business. We iron out the logistics of these different tours that we take, the conferences that we plan, volunteering, shadowing. So that's the reason why the food is so expensive.
Are there any further questions? Senator Otten.
Hi, I was just wondering if you guys could go into detail about what you learned in the symposium, kind of what that event looks like for you guys, just kind of some more details.
So the symposium really covers every aspect of the dental school process, from application to admittance. They break down scores, they break down all the stats you'll need, GPA, shadowing hours, community service hours as well. And then on top of that, they cover course material at the dental school that you would take as a D1 student, D2, 3, and 4. They also have lab simulations. My freshman year, we got to work on our own filling inside of a tooth. I know there's another one where they do suturing. I think they do crowns as well. So we really do learn a lot at the symposium for sure.
Are there any further questions? Senator Brown?
What was your approved amount from the Finance Commission?
We were approved a little over $3,900, not quite $4,000.
Are there any more questions from senators? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move to Economists Anonymous.
Hi, I'm the Vice President and Outreach Coordinator for Economics Anonymous. We are an economics club. We basically cater to all students because we want to foster an interest in economics because it's such a broad subject. And we want to support students in building their careers. Our goals for the next year are going to be networking, professional development, community, and skill enhancement. These are all things that we've done in the past and we aim to do in the future, hopefully with some funding from SGA. We have 10 meetings planned, 1 conference, 6 events, and 2 fundraisers. We hope to make up for the money that we don't think we're going to be able to get with the fundraisers, and so we hope to be able to do that. The money is generally allocated, as you can see with this, but we have the most spending in October because we have the Missouri Valley Economic Association Conference. It's in Kansas City, so it's not very far. A lot of it would be paid out of pocket, such as the tickets and the food, but we do need help paying for hotels. And so this would kind of help cover that. Yeah, this is just the way that it's differently allocated. We try to host panels every year. We are generally successful in it. It helps students get networking, and that kind of helps them advance themselves in their careers, whether it's economic based or not. We get students from lots of different majors, including finance, accounting, and then because economics is so broad, we aim to try to get different people in too. But we think that this would be beneficial for all students at WSU.
Are you standing for questions?
Yep.
Are there any questions from senators? Senator Argumento?
How many members do you guys have in your organization?
We have 42 members.
Are there any further questions? Senator Beam?
How many of those members will go to Kansas City?
We aim for around 10 people to come, but obviously depending on how many people want to come, we might have to do more fundraisers or seek out sponsoring options.
Are there any further questions? I actually had a question. So I noticed that your presentation that you're presenting today is quite different than the presentation you presented before the Finance Commission. Can you kind of go into the discrepancy between the different presentations that were presented on behalf of your organization?
Yeah, so I felt that the presentation that was presented before didn't really show our best interests and all the plans that we aim to do, and also what we cater to. So all the officers met up yesterday, and we spoke about the changes that we would have to make and what we essentially want and aim for this organization to have. And so that's why we decided to restructure the presentation and make some changes.
Are there any more questions? I had one more additional question. So within your original presentation, it was stated that the bare minimum is $700 for your organization. Is that still the case, or has it adjusted since those conversations?
Because we had to speak about how much we want to do and the different, like how we want to appeal to students in general, we had to kind of see how much it would cost for individual meetings. And so when we broke it down, it turned out to be more expensive than we originally thought.
Are there any more questions? Okay, final question for me. In the original appropriations presentation, I remember that it was stated that your organization received some funding from the business school in the past. With the amount that you were allocated this year, have you had any conversations with the business school, Martin School of Business, to help support your organization?
We have spoken, but since we were just given the amount yesterday, we haven't really had time to have the proper conversations about it.
Are there any more questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the Audio Engineering Society.
Hello, my name is Yasmin Plasencia, and I will be representing the Audio Engineering Society today and asking for a reevaluation of organization's recommended allocation to go over again. Our overall cost for AES, assuming we receive no School of Digital Arts funding this year, comes to $35,141.35. Assuming we do receive similar funding as last year, that does come down to $19,394.65. Our initial request for appropriations had been $15,000, and the Financial Commission did recommend $2,738. We asked for a reevaluation of at least $12,000. So our biggest expense is our AES General Conference, which again, assuming that SOTA does pay for a similar expense as last time, we're left at a cost that we have to cover of $3,900. For our general meetings alone, our expenditures, we're looking at $2,000, $2,860 for a total for the fall of 2025 and spring of 2026. Our AES convention is our biggest expenditure, and it is also one of the most important parts of our organization. It directly impacts our members' careers and livelihoods. It is a way that we are able to connect, create connections, but also maintain connections with the industry and also stay up to date with how the industry is working across all backgrounds. We did want to point out that Wichita is an increasing and emerging pathway in audio that directly relates to other areas and concentrations, not just audio alone. We are seeing a significant increase in people seeking out to AES for audiobook and voiceover recordings from different people, not just locally, but also from other countries. And so hence the importance of being connected through the AES convention, where we see a lot of engineers from different backgrounds and different places of the world. We did want to point out as well that even though we are a new RSO, we do continue to meet qualifications of Tier 3 organizations. 3 general meetings, we hold public events through our Friday sessions, as well as attending the convention. And even though it is our first year and we were told it's not exactly required, we are planning for fundraising this year as well. Due to what we have pointed out previously and the necessities that we have outlined, we would like to make the case for asking for a higher quantity than that of $2,736. Yeah.
Will you stand for questions? Yes. Are there any questions? Senator Lewis?
How much of your budget is in the conference?
For our budget in the conference, we're looking at expenses of $13,900.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Mallard?
How much does SOTA give you guys?
So last year, SOTA did provide us, based on the amount from last time, without SOTA help, we would be looking at $35,000. With the help of SOTA, that brings it down both for general meetings and for convention, a cost of $13,900.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Payne?
Did you apply for an exception to pass the $10,000 Tier 3 limit?
I believe when we filled out the form, we did, yes.
Are there any more questions for the group? Senator Mallard?
So are you saying SOTA gave you $15,000? Is that, or what is the amount?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any more questions? Senator Owens?
Yeah, so in watching the deliberations and also hearing your feedback here, could you provide a little bit of more clarity that 2,736 would just mean maybe you can't go to the conference that you were planning on? So could you explain a little bit more to that point, if that's accurate for you, or what your organization would be able to do with that allocation?
Yeah, so that would mostly, the main expense from the conferences goes to lodging. So last year when we went, we did run into the issue of students having to not be able to go. So we had a selection process of 10 students, in which I want to say 3 to 5 students had to drop down that position because they just couldn't afford it. And so then it had to trickle down to people, it came down to who can afford it and who couldn't, which is what we don't want the organization to be. Right now, we're only able to send 10 students to conventions. Eventually, we would want to send whoever is a member, which right now, it would be 19 members.
Are there any more questions? Senator Argumento.
So most of the funding that you're asking for is to cover the expenditures for this conference, right, for housing? Is that what I'm understanding? For 10 students? Okay.
Yes, the majority goes to lodging expenses.
Are there any, we have time for one more question. Senator Owens.
Sorry, just to follow up, with the $2,736, would you just not attend the conference this year, or would you try to send as many as you can with that number, or go for just general meetings, or what would that $2,736 amount look like for your organization if no more funding was granted?
That amount would go towards general meetings, and then we would try to, either through fundraising or through out-of-pocket, kind of how we did last year for the convention expenses.
Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have for questions. Thank you. Our next group is Sky Campus Happiness.
Hello, good evening everyone. I'm Ashwarya, the president of Sky Campus Happiness. I just recently got this promotion because the previous president, he graduated from our school. He was Dr. Parshuram. And yeah, Sky Campus Happiness is the resilience for you and your campus. It's the evidence based on practice and community that cultivate confidence, calm, and resilience. So, like every other organization, we have a vision that is, we envision happy and mindful campus communities where student, faculty, and staff thrive in life and lead with clarity of mind, resilience, purpose, and belonging. Our mission is bringing meditation, breath work, emotional intelligence, social connection, and service leadership to every campus. Sky Campus is not just new to USA, but it has been in many top universities in USA. Like one of the research from Yale University has a research-based, and there is a graph. Can you scroll it down? This was the paper published by Yale University, and here it was a clear evidence that Sky Campus was helping students more. And so the approach for this happiness program is there are 4: evidence-based practice, inclusion and social connection, service and leadership program, emotional intelligence training. So the impact for Sky Happiness program has been 600K plus, and there are many certified Sky facilitators and 800 plus trained students, wellness leaders, and 140 plus college campuses offering Sky Campus Happiness program. If you go to the next slides, here are the top many colleges in USA which has Sky Campus Happiness program, and it's strange that why Wichita State doesn't have it. So the programming of the Sky Happiness program is of 3 levels. First is track 1, it's the short term. Track 2 is of 3 or 4 days program, and track 3 is a mostly more deeper thing. So as you go wider, it goes more deeper. And the budget we asked was for $3,000, and we got the approval for $3,000. And yeah, we have some connection with the trainers who are ready to give this training to our department, not to our department, to our university. And yes.
I'm sorry.
that's all.
Time is up for the presentation period. Are there any questions that senators may have? Senator Beam.
Hi. How many students do you have in your club right now?
Right now, there are 11 students in total.
Are there any further questions from senators? Senator Ping.
Hi. From my understanding, Finance Commission gave the Sky Campus 0 because there was no presentation allowed. Can you kind of explain what happened there?
Yeah, so as I said at the beginning of the presentation, there was due to some transition. Earlier, the president was Dr. Parshuram. He graduated and he went back to his home country. So because of this transition, we were not in touch, or I think all the mails went to him instead of me. So due to this, we didn't got chance to present our presentation or sign up.
Are there any more questions? Senator Owens.
Yeah, due to this, I know this is the first time we're hearing from your organization, so can you dive a little bit deeper into, I guess, the financial picture here, because I guess I'm a little bit confused when looking at this larger picture of dollars. So can you just dive a little bit deeper into, because I know your organization was requesting $3,000. This is nigh on much more, so.
Okay, I can tell you what my understanding and what I have knowledge up to my understanding. So the budget asked was for $3,000, and it includes, I guess, everything, including the trainers, the administration and department. And the amount which we planned was for 25 people. The retreat program will be costing around $100 per person. And since the budget is approved for $3,000, so the plan before 25 students, we had a target of maybe 10 to 15 students, and then for this semester, and then we can plan of getting more, so that as you can see here, the more students, the lesser the cost is. So that's all. I hope it's clear.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Argumento.
So this $3,000 request is for one conference? Is that what I'm looking at? Because it looks like there's a retreat going on. If it's for 11 people, it will cost you more money. So it's $3,000 for 11 people to go to a retreat? Is that what I'm looking at?
Yes, it will be a 3-day workshop, and it will be one time for this semester. That's what I think it's not only for the members. I think it's open to all, to all the university.
Okay, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you. Next, we will go to the Biomedical Engineering Society.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shada Sharafi. I'm the president of Biomedical Engineering Society, and unfortunately, no appropriation funding was allocated to BMES this year, despite getting approved for $3,000. And the next slide is going to be the list of events we're planning on for this year, for fall and spring semester. These events bring students and faculty closer together. We also have professional speakers to help students with networking and their future careers. And we have lab tours in JBC to familiarize students with BME labs and research opportunity. And unfortunately, for our first annual event, which is the bowling social, we needed to borrow money from the BME department itself and to be able to fund it. We're also planning on attending the Biomedical Engineering Society National Conference in San Diego, which cost about $1,500 per person. And for the next slide, this is a snapshot of the financial reports and excluding the lab tours and the conference funding, we spent about $648 last year, and $217 was carried over to this year. And for the next slide, this was some of the SGA questions. We did have fundraising. We had a t-shirt fundraising last year, and we have 90 active members currently. And that's it.
Will you stand for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions for this organization? Senator Owens?
Hi, I know y'all weren't able to present, so could you speak a little bit to maybe what happened there and dive a little bit deeper into the financial portion and why you requested the $3,000?
Yes, so unfortunately, we have a new exec team. Everybody is new. And personally, I did not receive the official notification for the hearing. And my treasurer told me last minute, and we could not attend, unfortunately. And for the appropriation funding, we were approved for $3,000. And we did not receive any funding for this year. And for the meetings and the events during the school year, for the ones that we're trying to plan, that it's going to be within the university, I would say the $3,000 should cover most of it. So, and according to the financial report from last year, that was not I saw another report for the lab tours for the funding report. That's why it's excluded from that one. That was a little hefty funding for that one. So we would like some funding to be able to even have the simple meetings and the planning we have for this year.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Otten?
Hi. I was just curious, since the biomedical engineering department sounded like they were funding your first event, is that something that you could utilize in the future for this school year?
I don't believe so, because we were planning on getting some funding at least, and we didn't receive anything, and most of it was covered by the money carried over from last year, and they just covered the food. So they will, this is not what we discussed with our advisor. I don't think they're gonna cover any expenses.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Archimeno?
Yeah, in your presentation, you mentioned that you have 90 active members. Is
Yes.
that right? What out-of-pocket cost can you expect to have your members then?
Sorry, what was that?
An out-of-pocket cost for your members?
Like a membership? Is that
Yeah,
what?
membership dues. Do they pay for any of this stuff?
No, we do not receive any fees for membership. It is free for all.
Are there any further questions from senators? Senator Mallard?
You mentioned BME and carryover from last year. How much do you have in safekeeping, and how much did the BME department give you last year, or for the last conference?
For the conference. They did not attend the conference last year. They haven't attended for a couple years, and it was only $217 that was carried over from last year.
Okay, that's all the time that we have for questions today. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move to the Indian Student Association.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Anshika, and I'm here representing the Indian Students Association. For me, IC isn't just an organization, it's a family. Like many of our members, I came here leaving behind my parents, my friends, and everything that felt familiar. And when you come to a new country, you don't just miss home, you miss the sense of belonging. IC is where I and so many others found it. We now have 226 active members, and the membership grew by 64% just this past year. And to make sure cost is never a barrier, starting last year, we decided to stop charging membership fees. We wanted to keep ISA completely open so that any student, no matter the background, can be a part of it. And before moving to the cost, I want to pause here to say that we are genuinely grateful for the $4,400 that has been recommended by the Finance Commission. We respect the Finance Commission's work and decision. But the truth is, the experiences that we want to create for students this year require a little bit more. Can you go to the next slide? Here you can see a breakdown of our events and their costs throughout the academic year. We have small events like Freshers' Day, DJ nights, and workshops where students grow and share. And then we have our flagship events, India Night in October and Vasant in April, which bring together more than 500 attendees for music, dance, theater, and food. While our smaller events typically cost between $1,000 to $1,700, our flagship cultural nights like India Night and Vasant require significantly more resources. India Night costs around $14,800 and Vasant costs about $12,800. On the next slide, you can see how our event expenses are distributed across different categories. The largest portion of our expenses is food, which comes to around $28,000 with average cost of $19 per plate. Next, we spend on prizes and mementos about $2,100 to recognize guests at 2 of our major events. Then we have rental resources and Metroplex rental for our large-scale events like India Night and Vasant. Venues like the Metroplex are essential to accommodate the number of attendees, and these rentals together account for roughly $3,400. Additionally, smaller but necessary expenses like printing and decoration, which help with promotion, outreach, and setting the right atmosphere events, is also there. Our projected expense this year totals around $34,976, and we plan to work hard to secure about $11,000 in revenue through ticket sales. That leaves us with a funding gap of $23,976, which we are requesting from the Finance Commission. This is not just a financial support, it's an investment in student success, cultural inclusion, and campus pride. We are careful with every dollar. We can cut back on food, limit attendees, or scale down events if needed, but we also know how much these moments mean to students. Money isn't the only factor, but it's an important one in helping us create experiences that bring people together. So we are requesting the Finance Commission to reconsider the allocated amount. I understand how much work you all put in coming to a decision about these funds, and we really appreciate all your efforts that you put in our organizations, and it would be extremely helpful for us if we can more funds.
I'm sorry, time. You have reached the 3-minute limit. Are there any questions for this new organization? Senator Owens?
Hi, just to clarify, your organization does not attend conferences? It's just like meetings on campus and events like that?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Mallard?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you ask for $30,000 for food? Is that what one of the previous slides said?
No, so the projected expense for the food is $28,000, but we also plan to get $11,000 in revenue through ticket sales. So we plan to cover around $12,000.
Are there any more senators with questions? Senator Beam?
Can you go into more of why the food would cost $28,000?
Yeah, so we plan to cater the food from Chartwells, where each plate is costing around $19.
Are there any more questions? Senator Otten?
I saw that India Night is one of your bigger expenses. Can you kind of go into what members experience that night, kind of some of the benefits from that?
So India Night is a grand event where we have to showcase our culture, tradition, and stuffs. And we are expecting around 600 attendees in India Night. So last year it was 600 attendees for India Night. So we are expecting the same this time as well. So we can't really compromise on food for the night because that is where we can show tradition and stuff. So Indian foods are pretty much expensive than any other. So we try to get in loop with Astoria. So their least thing is going to be like $20 per plate. So that's why India Night expense is a little bit higher than any other events.
Are there any further questions? Senator Ping?
Hi. So just kind of following up on Senator Owens' question. As you said, you don't host any conferences or anything, which would make you a Tier 2 organization. As the limit with Tier 2 organization is $5,000, Did you get granted an exception from Treasurer Bum or from Director Fonseca or anyone?
We filled the form, and I think it was mentioned in there.
Just a follow-up question for me. So with the tier 3 exceptions, even if an exception was granted, the limit was $20,000. So can you kind of explain to us why you requested more than $20,000, which is the limit with the exception?
So we try to cut costs, and we can still cut costs on various things. It's just that we want the students to have the best experience when they come to our events. And to be honest, our expenses that we are asking for is $23,000, but I think the minimum for our organization to even run, that would be approx $20,000. We just want the students have to like the best experience, because the last semester, the previous team, on just one event, they spent around $8,000 in the last semester just for one event. So that would be around $20,000 for both of the semesters for us.
Thank you. And that's the time we have for questions, unfortunately, at this time, but thank you. Next group is the WCU Cricket Club.
Hello everyone, my name is Sai Karthik. I'm the president for WSU Cricket Club. So we are a sports group. For people who don't know cricket, it is a ball and bat game played in a circular field with 22 yards of pitch. It's played between two teams with 11 players on each side. Yeah, and into the, can I control it? Oh. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I have the presentation. I'm plugged in right now.
Okay. So yeah, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Next slide. So yeah, so we've been the runner-ups for the last 2 years, 2021 and 2022, and this year we are in semifinals. We are one of the universities in Midwest that have their own cricket field, and we are really fortunate for it. Our club has 80 plus active members, and we are around 100 plus passive members. That includes people who come for cheering, for help, support. So our major funding comes from the sports club until last year. Last year, it costed us around $12,000 because we got our own cricket field here, and it took us some extra money in setting up the field. Because the 22-yard pitch that I'm talking about, it is a concrete pad, and that is where we actually play the game. And for this year, we are requesting around $7,500 or more than that, keeping in mind, the league participation fee, equipment maintenance, field upkeep, and travel expenses. And this also covers the official people who come for umpiring the games, payments. Yeah, I already spoke about this one. Like I said, we are the only university in Midwest that have our own cricket field, and we really feel fortunate for that. So, and having said that, cricket is played majorly in countries like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh. So it also increases the intake from students, coming from these countries, Yep.
Will you stand for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions for the student organization? Senator Sauls?
Do your members pay a fee?
Yeah, we do charge, because even the $7,500 that we requested wouldn't be enough. So we do charge $25. This includes food and travel. We pay travel expenses with our own money. So, yeah.
Are there any further questions? Senator Boyd?
do you hold any fundraisers?
We do conduct tournaments here locally, but it also depends on the schedule because we participate in multiple tournaments at the same time. So we pretty much stay busy towards the weekend.
Are there any more questions, Senator Argumento?
You guys mentioned that you're the only, WSU is the only place in the Midwest that has their own cricket field. What type of traveling do you guys do since we're pretty far away from anywhere else?
Yeah, so we are one of the universities that has its own cricket field. There are some private grounds that are in Oklahoma and Tulsa, and we travel to Oklahoma and Tulsa to play with teams there. So in our league that we play, even Oklahoma Cricket State University also has a team, but they don't have their own field. So they rent out the private grounds on weekly basis to play.
Are there any further questions, Senator Lewis?
You mentioned the league participation fee. How much is that?
Sorry, where am I looking at?
The league participation fee.
The league participation fee, we play 2 seasons in a year. One is a 35-over season and another one is a T20 season. Depending on number of players that we have, we either pitch in 2 teams or 1 team. So for each team, it costs us around $1,500. And on top of that, if you're playing with 2 teams, we need to buy balls, bats, the equipment. So everything doubles up, So it depends on year to year with the intake. We just see how many people are fit enough to play competitive cricket.
Are there any further questions, Senator Owens?
Gabe, you might want to put that slide back on here. I did notice that you did have a little bit of a breakdown, and this is the first time we're seeing kind of your budget breakdown. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the specifics for each of the equipment items? I know there was just a big number next to the items.
So technically, the league fees, if you're going with 2 teams, the league fees cost us somewhere near to $3,000. Having said that, it's just for 1 season. In a year, we play 2 seasons. The season starts in April and goes until end of September. We're still playing this year, and we are into semifinals. And then after this, we start the T20 season. For that, the fees is different again, but it's not as much as the 35-hour season because the T20 season is short. So on top of that, so the concrete pad that I was talking about where we play, it has a mat that is used. And the mat, it gets rough and it goes off every year or pretty much every 2 years. So we keep changing that. And then, we also pay for mowing the field, having the field painted and things like that. And then we buy bats and balls, especially when you're using pads and stuff, it gets worn out very soon. So the jerseys that we play, we don't actually, we do not include that we pay it out of our pocket. So jerseys are completely bought by students who like to play.
Okay, that is the time we have for questions today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll now go to the National Society of Black Engineers.
Hi. So we do not have a presentation, but I'd like to first say thank you for the $7,000 and $7,061 that you gave us. The National Society of Black Engineers requested for $10,000, which was the maximum we could ask for. And then the main reason for this is our convention that we hold. So I thought to give you guys some stats from the past conventions we've gone to. So last year, our president, her name is Alexia, she got an internship from Boeing that is also leading to a full-time offer from that conference. 2 years ago, our president was Chime. She got a full-time offer from Lockheed Martin, where she currently works. We have a sophomore with us who got an internship in GE Aerospace, which will lead to a full-time offer, and keep in mind that he's just a sophomore. We have a member called Tav, who also went to one of those conferences 2 years ago, got an internship at Textron, led to a full-time offer, which he does work right now. Another student in the exact same thing with Textron called Chidera. We have a member called Dorian, who went to these conferences. He got 7 interviews, eventually chose to stay on with Textron Aviation. We got a student named Joshua who came to one of the events that NESB hosts called the Resume Workshop, and then went to a career fair the next day, also got on with Textron. We have 20 of our members who are mentees right now with Pfizer. So I said all of this to say that while $7,000 is a lot of money that we do appreciate, but in every dollar and in that $3,000 especially that was cut off from our $10,000 really does matter, because we want to be able to take as many students as we can to this conference, to this convention. We presented to the SGA and showed that it actually cost us $30,000. Like, it's the last convention cost us $33,000 to be exact to go, but then of course we can't ask for that much, so then we fundraise the rest. But then please, I don't think any dollar amount is too small to put on, adding another student's name to this list, maybe even adding mine, because I'm currently the president and the last 2 presidents got full-time offers. But then, I mean, the point is, we're giving students jobs, we're giving them experiences, giving them professional development, which is all that one NESB promises, and I think which is why people come to Wichita State in the first place, to get an opportunity. Thank you.
Will you stand for questions?
Sure, yes.
We'll go to Senator Argumento.
As an engineering or part of the engineering school, are you getting any funding from them, the School of Engineering?
In the past, we have gotten funding from the College of Engineering, but this time they have cited budget cuts, and then it looks like we're not getting any money from them.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Mungaravani.
How many members do you take to the convention?
Typically, we take 30 members, which includes 12 executive members and 1 advisor.
Are there any more questions? Senator Argumento.
How much money did you get in previous years from the School of Engineering? Do you know?
The previous, I can't speak for any year past last year, but then last year we got about $5,000 from them.
Are there any further questions from senators? Senator Otten.
Just to clarify, you mentioned that the College of Engineering, it wasn't looking like there was a chance of getting any other funds. Do you have any other revenues that you could pull from, maybe asking a few extra dollars from them, or anything that you know of yet?
So currently, most of the money besides SGA money that we get is from asking companies that have what they call, sometimes they call them focus groups, but then they're basically groups focused on small communities within the company. So then there is, for example, because we're Black engineers, we ask for the groups that are focused towards people of color. For some reason, a lot of companies are cutting that. I think that's part of the DEI cuts that's coming. So right now, most of the funding from those places is gone. The only place that we get funding now, besides you guys, is we have a crowdfunding page that our members send out, and then we get funding from that. We do some fundraising events like Pie Exec. Sometimes we reach out to, before it was Premier Food Service, it's changed to Chartwell's now, but then we sometimes do concessions for like basketball games and baseball games.
Are there any further questions? Senator Miller.
With the amount that the Finance Commission recommended you, how many students would you be able to take?
Okay, well, so besides convention, unfortunately, we do a lot of other events on campus that take money and and a bunch of students. But then right now, with the amount that the Finance Commission gave us, if we decided to cut back as much, events on campus as possible, it's looking like we could only take our 12 exec members, which, while is still a lot of students, but then the promise that we make to some of our members, and then all the list that I mentioned, only 2 of them were exec, which is the 2 presidents I mentioned. We'd like to promise our members being able to go to this convention because they spend their time. Some of them spend, their money, because some of them also donate to us. We don't make anybody pay membership fees, but then some of them donate to us. Some of them spend their time to go out and fundraise with us. So we like to be able to take them as well.
Okay, that is all the time we have for questions today. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now go next to Jessica Tomas Lucas. Okay, awesome. We will now go to Dorian Marshall. Okay, are there any additional individuals that would wish to speak during public forum at this time? Seeing none, we will now close the public forum period. I will now recess for until 8:10 p.m.
Till what time? I heard
Okay, Senators, start heading back to your seats. I call this meeting back to order at 8:10 p.m. It is the opinion of the chair that all members are present. We will now move into Section 7, Introductions and Reports. For today, we will have all of our reports be sent in and be entered into the record, official record. Therefore, we will now move into Section 8, the consent agenda. There is none. We will now move into Section 9, pending business. There is none. We will now move into Section 10, new business. Advisor Fonseca.
All right, good evening, Senators. How are you? I'm well. All right, so the roller coaster of tonight's evening. So I know for some of you who are new to this process, appropriations work similarly like our student fees process, yet completely, totally different as well. So each individual, I know it's funny, yeah. Each individual bill has already been separated. It has been normal practice for the past 2 years because there are individual members in this room who might be leaders of or affiliated with organizations, and voting on those bills could be a violation of the student government ethics policy. So for the past 2 years, we've kind of just made a practice where each of these bills have been separated preemptively to the meeting, which means every single one of the bills will have an individual vote to it. The challenge to that also then presents if you decide that you want to amend a bill to either give an organization more money or amend a bill to decrease money, becomes a little bit longer of a process than just simply pulling it from one line to another. And what that means is that the clerk will go one by one from the bill. We'll do the whole process where there'll be questions asked, debate will begin. If an individual senator wants to amend to increase one organization's fund, you're going to have to also tell us where you're going to decrease it from. And it has to come from another bill that hasn't already been voted on. The only way to be able to go back to a bill that has already been voted on, which can only happen once, is to recall a bill to the floor. So let's say we get to Bill 100, which I don't know how many there are, but let's pretend we get to Bill 100. You can only go and pull Bill 89 once. You can't do it 2 times. You can only pull from organizations that haven't already been voted on, and then you'll vote on that process, and then that will become the new number. So it'll be a little bit complicated, so if you're gonna go through that process, which is fine and well within the Senate's rights, then we'll just kind of take it one by one and kind of go from there, from the process. There is no additional dollars, so you can't say, let's just increase this line item by $1,000 because appropriations was only budgeted $300,000. So the overall fund itself has been depleted, and all of it has been allocated. So as you go through it, if you want to make that amendment, totally fair, totally fine. We'll just take it step by step so that we can communicate it from there. On the teams, you'll see a folder that says Senate bills and then actual Senate bills. The one folder didn't download all of the bills on there. So the one that says actual Senate legislation or actual Senate bills has all of the 86 bills in there. So I apologize on that and preemptively. Are there any questions before we jump into this process?
Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca? Senator Mallard.
Are you going to put the presentations that?
No, I'll put the bills up, not the presentations.
Will you put the presentations that were just presented today?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Those are already on there under the in the Senate channel under Senate resources. There's a folder in there for August 27th.
Are there any further questions for Advisor Fonseca? This is your opportunity to ask him questions about the process. So if you do not understand it, please ask a question now. Are there any additional questions? Senator Owens.
What are your thoughts on Committee of the Whole?
The only issue with Committee of the Whole is nothing in there is binding, so all of it has to be voted on individually in the full Senate meeting. So if you do decide to go to that route, which is fine, and for new senators, Committee of the Whole is a process in which the Senate steps into a committee that takes away kind of the more formal process of things. There are no votes that are in that space. None of those votes are binding. None of those votes carry any weight. They're just kind of an opinion of the space at the committee. However, any decisions you make in that space all have to be voted on in public meeting or in Senate when you turn back into that space. So it is an option, but just do keep in mind that none of the action that happens in Committee of the Whole carries any binding weight of the Senate.
Are there any additional questions for Dr. Fonseca?
And the last thing I'll say really quick, as you all remember, we are on a time crunch, or not, time basis of normal Senate adjourns at 9:30. So if you do decide to extend, keep in mind that the student government will be billed for anything past 9:30, as we shared at the first meeting. So do keep that in mind as you are engaging in these discussions.
Any last minute questions? Okay, thank you. We'll now go to Treasurer Bum.
Good evening, Senators. I also want to say thank you to all the organizations that showed up and showed some fight for their groups and everything. Tonight, I am proud to present all 86 bills, and these are the funding bills on appropriations on behalf of the Finance Commission. So the Finance Commission has worked for 50 hours over 4 days to create these recommendations that you see before you tonight. Please join me in offering an applause for those members. The Finance Commission sat here 3.5 days of presentations and then deliberated over 4 hours with the final budget of $300,000. Based on those presentations and any additional information the organization sent to us before deliberations. Keep in mind that our initial budget request was for over $700,000 and was brought down to our $300,000 budget even. I'd also like to highly iterate that the Finance Commission recommended these numbers after spending 40 hours looking over presentations, notes, and deliberating with one another. Each and every organization was looked over multiple times and given funds to help support their initiatives to reach these final allocations. The Finance Commission has done a wonderful job in ensuring as much financial support for these students' organizations was given. I'm urging that the Senate approve these funding bills as presented. I would like to give some more information on the Commission's process regarding these decisions. So if you might have heard during some of our public forum hearings, we talked a little bit about the tier system. So for RSOs, there's a 3-tier system, structure. So tier 1 organizations only hold general meetings. Tier 2 organizations hold general meetings as well as open events. And tier 3 organizations hold both of the first two plus travel for conference or competition. So one of the first things that the Finance Commission looked at were requests that were over the tier limit amount. So the only exceptions were if an organization emailed me or Dr. Fonseca as a tier 3 organization that were limited to $20,000 instead of the $10,000. The only two exceptions that we received were from Model UN and Shocker Racing Baja SAE. So if you heard anything about any other exceptions, those were not true. The next process was during our deliberations, and the Finance Commission essentially went through 3 rounds of deliberations. The first round was taking line item by line item from each and every organization and seeing what we could allocate to them and what we did not want to allocate to them. The second round was very similar. And then the third round, we were a little over the $300,000 budget. So we decided to do an even 11.7% reduction from all organizations to make this as fair as possible towards the end phases of deliberations. After that, we decided to round every single amount to the nearest whole number, whole dollar for both administration and purposes for the organization. And after that, that is how we reached our total $300,000 budget. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on were no-shows and deadlines. So multiple of the organizations that you heard from tonight did not present during the appropriations process. This was because they either failed to sign up on time or they signed up and missed their meeting. Obviously, we had 86 total bills. Not all of them showed up, but at least 75 organizations took lots of time to create their presentations, to come in sometimes early during the weekends, and we didn't want to take money away from them and give them to another organization that missed a deadline or wasn't prepared for the hearings. Along with that, we didn't hear from some organizations that failed to submit their application on Shocker Sync correctly. So I was very strict on deadlines, and I wanted to make this as fair as possible for all organizations that follow the rules. So with that, let's get this party started, and I will now stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into section 10.1. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-022, authorize funding for 3D printed prosthetics.
Does the author here wish to speak?
I am.
You have the floor.
All right, so for 3D printed prosthetics, the requested amount was $15,000 and their approved amount was $5,384. Just FYI, I will not be speaking on the 11.7% reduction. For any of these, I will be speaking about specific line items that were mentioned from the Finance Commission. The first thing we looked at was there was no exception, so their $15,000 limit was taken down to an automatic 10. And then for specific line items, this will cover their general meetings, their conference expense, $500 for fundraisers, can't speak, sorry, and some project materials. Do I have any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca? The form for this item is now in the Teams. Please vote within the poll.
We are missing 2 votes. Okay, give me 1 second.
Are there any other senators that are having issues with voting?
How do you want to vote? Okay. So that's 22 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions.
We will now move into 10.2. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-023, authorize funding for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc.
You have the floor.
All right, so Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority requested $2,500 and they requested $1,324. So the reason for this is because their organization currently only has 2 members in it. So most of these funds will be allocated towards recruitment to hopefully grow their chapter size in the future. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Advisor Fonseca. The form is now live within the teams.
It's 20 in favor, 1 against, and 1 abstention.
The motion passes for that legislation. We'll now move into 10.3. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-024, authorize funding for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Inc.
You have the floor.
All right, so this organization requested $8,000 and they were granted $5,737. The reason for this is a lot of fraternities and sororities, their regional and district conventions, they are required, and if they do not attend with a certain amount of members in attendance, they will be charged. So this covers their regional and district convention costs, as well as their campus-wide event programming and most of their event costs.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Advisor Fonseca?
The form is live. We are missing 2 votes.
We are still missing 1 vote.
That's 19 in favor, 1 against, 1 abstention, and 1 no vote.
Advisor Fonseca, would it be 2 abstentions as we're missing 1 vote?
Say that again?
Would that be 2 abstentions as we're missing 1 vote?
Correct, yeah.
With that, this legislation passes. We will now move into 10.4. The clerk may read.
On request to approve SB-68-025, authorize funding for American Choral Directors Association.
You have the floor.
All right, so the American Choral Directors Association requested $5,350, and they were given $4,060. The reason for this was it covers their funding necessities for most events and around half their meetings, as well as a hotel for their conference, but they will have to pay some out-of-pocket expenses for travel and registration. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis?
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. We will now move, before we move into 10.5, I will hand off the chair to Vice President Nguyen, as I will abstain on this next item.
We will now move into 10.5. The clerk may read.
On request to approve SB-68-026, authorize funding for American Society of Mechanical Engineers.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $9,995 and was approved $5,746. This covers their general meetings, their outreach, their conference registration, and one of their competitions. They will have to pay some out-of-pocket expenses for their conference.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll move into the debate period. Would anyone like to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period.
The poll is now open. We're missing one more vote. That is 21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention. The motion carries.
I will now hand it back over to Speaker Fawn.
Thank you. We will now move into 10.6. The clerk may read.
On request to approve SB-68-027, authorize funding for Arab Students Association.
You have the floor.
Sorry, let me look at my numbers here. The Arab Student Association requested $5,000. They were granted $2,957. The reasoning for this was to cover their monthly meetings, their graduation cords, and their largest event, which was Family Feud.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis?
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.7. The clerk may read.
On request to approve SB-68-028, authorize funding for Audio Engineering Society.
You have the floor.
All right, so we heard from this organization earlier this evening. They requested $15,000 and were granted $2,736. The reason for this is because we wanted to cover general meetings with their food and drink. This covered an in-state guest speaker, fundraisers, and registration for their conference. This is a very new organization, so we're unable to cover the costs of their faculty for travel to this conference. The Department of Digital Arts was able to cover airfare for 10 students last time, and I know this may not be possible this year, but appropriations can't handle it either.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period.
The poll is now open. With 21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention.
This legislation passes. We'll now move into 10.8. The clerk may read.
Action request to approve SB-68-029, authorize funding for Bangladesh Student Association.
You have the floor.
All right, so this organization requested $20,000, once again above the Tier 3 limit with no exception, and was approved $4,943 of those dollars. The reason for this, it will cover their 2 largest events with over 100 attendees and some of their general meetings. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Senator Owens?
Does this organization attend conferences, making it applicable for the Tier 3 organization, or does it not and have to limit it to the $5,000 for the Tier 2?
Give me just 1 second. They do not attend a conference, making it the $5,000 limit.
Are there any further questions from any senators at this time? Senator Brown?
I'd like to motion to pass with the unanimous consent.
We are currently in the question period.
My bad.
Are there any further questions from any senators? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Thank you. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move. Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve with the unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion is approved. Seeing no objections, this motion is approved as such. We will now move into 10.9.
Action request to approve SB-68-030, authorize funding for Biomedical Engineering Society.
You have the floor.
All right, so we also heard from this organization earlier this evening. They requested $3,000 and they were granted 0, and this is because they did not present to the Finance Commission. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Advisor Fonseca?
The vote is now open. That is 15 in favor, 5 against, and 2 abstentions. The motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now move into 10.10.
Act on request to approve SB-68-031, authorize funding for Chi Sigma Tau National Fraternity.
You have the floor.
All right, so this organization requested $8,000. They were granted $3,310. The reason for this is it will cover their Stroll for Tomorrow event, formal installs, fundraisers, and half of their conference travel. We did not want to include some of the budget items they had for other universities visiting our campus for a conference they were going to host here, as well as travel to go explore new universities for their national chapter. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum at this time? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Senator Mallory,
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.11.
Act on request to approve SB-68-032, authorize funding for Christian Challenge.
You have the floor.
All right, so we also heard from this organization this evening. They requested $15,000, once again above the tier limit with no exception. They were approved $1,589. The reason for this is they just want to go to a singular conference, and the funding that we allotted will cover 15 students to go to this event, I guess. They stated their students were able to pay last year, and it helps with students who may not have been able to afford to go otherwise. One of the reasons for not funding this at a higher amount is the organization president did say that a lot of the members that would be attending are from other schools, such as Butler Community College or other area colleges, and student dollars should not be going towards outside students. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Mallard,
Motion to approve. Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.13.
Act on request to approve SB-68-033, authorize funding for Club Nova.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $2,000. They were approved $1,324. The reason for this is that they did have a pretty small budget with itemized line items, and we wanted to just cut down on the cost a little bit that they were allocating towards buying some tickets for community members for some of their events.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Senator Mallard,
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move into section 10.13. The
Act
clerk
on
may read.
request to approve SB-68-034, authorize funding for Corazon Latina.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $3,200. We allocated $1,589. The reason for this was to cover their general meetings, social events, and fundraisers. We cut down a little bit on some of their other outside events, and they are a relatively new organization, so we wanted to give them funds for their general meetings to grow a little bit.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period at this time? Senator Lewis,
I motion to approve SB-68-034 through SB-68-040 by unanimous consent.
are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection, Dr. Fonseca?
So because you're actively on a bill, you can only do on this one. When this is done, you can attempt to try that again. But because you're actively on a singular bill, you can't pull up more than once when you're on one.
Okay, we will now go back into the debate period on this item. I'll move to approve this bill by unanimous consent. Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.4. The clerk may read.
Upon request to approve SB-68-035, authorize funding for Cosmo Shocks.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $5,150. They were allocated $2,471. This will cover their general meetings and some events, and it also covers half of their conference cost.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.15.
Upon request to approve SB-68-036, authorize funding for Criminal Justice Student Association.
You have the floor.
This organization requested $3,000. They were given $2,295. This will cover their open house, their career fair, tabling, and some general meetings.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum at this time? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period at this time? Senator Brown.
Now's the correct time to motion.
That's
for
correct.
Unanimous consent to pass.
Are
I'm
you-
making a motion to.
Approved by unanimous consent.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Are there any senators, are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.16. The clerk may read.
Upon request to approve SB-68-037, authorize funding for Cultural Greek Council.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $10,000. They were allotted $5,296. The reason for this was to cover the yard show, which is a huge event every year, and half of their events.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Dr. Fonseca?
The vote is now open. Still missing one vote. There's 21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention. Sorry, there's 22 in favor, 0 against, and no abstentions.
We will now move into 10.17. The clerk may read.
Upon request to approve SB-68-038, authorize funding for Delta Delta Delta.
You have the floor.
All right, Delta 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 requested $5,000. They were allotted $0. This organization did present, but we had a couple of reasons for this $0 allocation. So did not feel like the events that they wanted funds for could be justified. Additionally, they cannot articulate the greater community impact that they made on Wichita State's campus. And the funds that are being requested would not be available to other students outside of their sorority to enjoy. And another point on this is PC chapters, including Tri-Delt or Delta Delta Delta, just went through primary recruitment. And I do know that these members paid a large amount of dues. I asked the amount that they received in dues, and after the percentages given to nationals and insurance, each member gives roughly $324 to the chapter every semester. Multiplying this by the expected amount of new members that the organization said they should expect this week, it reached well over $10,000, so I feel no need to fund this organization.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Owens?
I have a point of information at Dr. Gabriel Fonseca. So in the event that someone motions to approve using unanimous consent and we are a member of that organization, do you recommend to abide by the ethics policy by objecting, or what's your kind of stance? This goes to either Speaker Font or Advisor Fonseca.
Dr. Fonseca, can you review the ethics policy regarding abstentions for the legislation at hand?
Yeah, so the ethics policy does prohibit members, in this space, senators particularly, to vote on things that would benefit them. That could also be interpreted as organizations you might hold membership in. It does specifically lay out that if you are in a position of leadership, that you should abstain from that. It does kind of give an option of membership. I think my advice for years has always just been, if you are connected to that organization in any way, you should abstain from voting, because it still could be perceived as benefiting you in the organization you're a part of. The unanimous consent would not allow you to abstain, which means technically someone could file ethics charges against you. And so I would encourage folks that if you are connected to an organization, I know unanimous consent is an easier way for us to move forward, but as an individual person, I still would recommend you abstain just to force the vote so that your vote is on record as an abstention and not as a unanimous consent.
Are there any questions for Dr. Fonseca regarding the abstentions policy or ethics policy? Senator Argumento?
So we're still allowed to bring up unanimous, what's it called? Consent. We're still allowed to bring it up. It's just that if you're part of the organization, you should probably say objection to it.
Yeah, you can still bring it up for any other vote. Yeah, if you are connected, my recommendation, just based off of the years that we've had it in place, is that that individual person should object to it so that their vote can be on record that they abstained.
And to also clarify, if you object to unanimous consent, we would just go back into the debate period for that item, so you're not failing the legislation by objecting to the unanimous consent. But we will now move back into the question period for Treasurer Bum regarding this specific legislation. Senator Otten?
Just because I don't remember every single presentation and all of the deliberations, was their budget like allotted for that $10,000 to be used already, or was that something that they didn't take into consideration?
So they did not take any membership dues for new members into consideration.
Are there any additional questions? Senator Argumento?
Do we provide any funding in previous sessions?
No.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum at this time? Senator Owens?
Yeah, do you have a figure on their safekeepings account to see kind of what they're looking like from dues from last year?
I do not have a figure on that. I do know that multiple fraternities and sororities a lot of times do have outside accounts or alumni accounts, foundation accounts, things like that. But we did not get any information from them on that.
Are there any additional questions for Treasurer Bum for this item? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now, Senator Pang.
Motion to use unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. Senator Maurer, do you have something?
A motion to approve SB 6840 through SB 6853 with unanimous consent.
Can you repeat that one more time?
SB 6840 through SB 68053. We're on 3.
Are there any objections to this motion? Objection from Senator Beam. We'll now move into 10.18. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-039, authorize funding for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $3,500. They were allotted $2,515. This will cover their programs and events and the airfare for their conference, but they'll have to pay for lodging and the registration.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum for this legislation? Seeing none, we will now enter the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.19.
Act on request to approve SB-68-040, authorize funding for disability rights, education, activism, and mentorship.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $1,860 and was allotted $1,412. This covers every general meeting and event fully except for the grad celebration, and it does not cover the speaker or catering. It also does not cover the marketing. I do appreciate this group. They had very specific line items with exact costs for everything. Unfortunately, we were not able to cover everything.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during the debate period at this time? Senator Brown?
I'd like to motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing an objection from Senator Owens, we will now move into the back into the debate period for this item. Are there any other senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Dr. Fonseca?
The poll is open. With 20 in favor, 1 against, and 1 abstention, the motion carries.
We will now move into 10.20.
Act on request to approve SB-68-041, authorize funding for Distributive Education Clubs of America.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $16,106 and received $3,310. The reason for this is it will cover their conference registration, general meetings, events. However, this will not cover their travel and lodging, as it was covered by the Barton School of Business in past years, and we're hoping they can look to them for funding in the future.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Thank you. Seeing none, we'll now go into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.21.
Act on request to approve SB-68-042, authorize funding for Economists Anonymous.
All right, this organization we saw earlier this evening, they requested $2,215 and they were allotted $0. The reason for this is they did not seem to have a detailed plan for the semester. They were unable to answer some questions with clarity, and they did not plan on trying to get any outside funding or find any cheaper alternative costs. And I know you guys saw a presentation earlier this evening from them. That is nothing like the one that we saw during their original presentation. It was 3 completely white pages with little to no information on them. So that is how we made this decision.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum for this item? Senator Argumento.
I'm trying and get a reminder, like how many members do they have? How many? 42?
They have, yeah.
42, great. Okay, thank you. 42 members.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Argumento?
How we funded them in the past years?
Dr. Fonseca, we have.
Are there any other senators that wish to ask any questions at this time? Senator Otten?
Do we know a rough estimate and number that, the amount that we've, allotted them last year or previous years?
I'll have to look it up.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Dr. Fonseca, do you have the number?
Not yet.
While we wait for an answer, we will take a brief 5-minute recess. We will recess until 9:05 p.m.
I have to go through the folders.
Please start heading back to your seats. I call this meeting back to order at 9:05 p.m. It is the opinion of the chair that all members are present. We will now go back to the question period for 10.11. Is there an answer, Advisor Fonseca, regarding safekeeping?
Yeah, so we've actually never funded them through the appropriations process, but they have gone through the org funding process before.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum regarding this item? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak during debate during this time? Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.22.
Action request to approve SB-68-043, authorize funding for Engineers Without Borders.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $10,000. They were allotted $5,296. This will cover their assessment travel for 5 students. It does not include the advisor, and it includes half of events and general meetings.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. (21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention). The motion carries.
We will now move into 10.23. The clerk may read. Senator Mallard.
A motion to approve SB-68-44 through SB-68-46.
And are you doing this by unanimous consent?
By unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, these bills are adopted as such. We will now move into 10.26.
Action request to approve SB-68-047, authorize funding for Go Baby Go, Wichita State University.
All right, this organization requested $7,500. They were allocated $4,413. The reason for this, their organization is a great cause. They build pretty much power wheels for children with disabilities that are make them more accessible for them to play with. And this is, they originally allocated $5,000 for 8 cars, which is cheap. Eventually we did, hit that 11.7% reduction, which moved down the cost a little bit for that. So this will fund around 7 cars.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate during this time? Seeing none, we'll now enter into the voting period for this item.
The vote is now open. That's 19 in favor, 1 against, and 2 abstentions.
Senator Mallard,
A motion to approve SB-68-48 through SB-68-58. By unanimous consent.
are there any objections to these motions? Seeing no objections, it is adopted as such. We will now move We will now move to 10.38.
Act on request to approve SB-68-059, authorize funding for Model United Nations at Wichita State University.
You have the
All right, so this organization requested $34,329 and was allocated $8,929. The reason for this is obviously they did get the exception, so they were automatically put to $20,000. The reason that we specifically put it at the recommended dollar amount is because this is the amount allocated to this organization in the past, and this group has, still figured out ways to be able to travel for their events. So,
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. There's 17 in favor, 1 against, and 4 abstentions. The motion carries.
Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve SB-68-60 through SB-68-63 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Mungaravani, we will now go back to 10.39. You have the floor.
Act on request to approve SB-68-60, authorize funding for Muslim Students Association.
this organization requested $5,000. They recommended 0, and this is because they did not present.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Argumento.
Has SDA provided any funding in the past?
Dr. Fonseca will look that up, but they did not present.
Are there any additional questions for Treasurer Bum? Dr. Fonseca, are you gathering the information regarding that question, or?
So we've not funded them through this process before, but they have been funded through org funding before.
Are there any further questions for Dr. Fonseca? For Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. Senator Mallard.
I motion to approve SB-68-61 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We'll now move into. Which number were we on? At 10.41.
Act on request to approve SB-68-062, authorize funding for National Society of Black Engineers.
You have the floor.
All right, you all heard from this group earlier this evening. They requested $15,000. They were awarded $7,061. The reason for this, it will cover half of their general meetings, half of their events, and registration for 5 students.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. With 18 in favor, 1 against, and 19 in favor, 1 against, and 2 abstentions, the motion carries.
Senator Maurer.
A motion to approve SB-68-63 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections for this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.43.
Act on request to approve SB-68-064, authorize funding for OSTEM at Wichita State University.
You have the floor.
All right, this group requested $10,000. They recommended $5,737. The reason for this is it covers their general meetings and events. It will not be covering the conference cost because they could not answer questions. And it was covered last year by the School of Engineering, but this year that was a little bit up in the air, so we didn't want to make any assumptions.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. With 21 in favor, 0 against, 1 abstention, the motion carries.
Senator Maurer.
A motion to approve SB-68-65 through SB-68-73 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Tawana, we'll now go to 10.44.
Act on request to approve SB-68-065, authorize funding for Pakistani Student Association.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $17,835. They were allocated $8,694. The reason for this is it will cover their general meetings, their fall and spring picnics, their Ramadan event, which has hundreds of people every year, and also funding for the registration of their conference.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis?
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Tawana, we'll now move back into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in the debate period at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. With 20 in favor, 1 against, and 1 abstention, the motion carries.
Senator Hatch?
Motion to extend the meeting until 10 p.m.
Is there a second for that motion? Seconded by Chairperson Hanson. We will now move into debate for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak on debate on this item at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for extending the meeting to 10 o'clock p.m.
The vote is now open. (17 in favor, 5 against, and 0 abstention. The motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now, Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve SB-68-66 through SB-68-68 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing, can you say the motion one more time for me?
A motion to approve SB-68-66 through SB-68-68.
I will object to this motion. We'll now go back. We'll now go to 10.45.
Action request to approve SB-68-066, authorize funding for Paraguayan Student Association.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $3,200. They were allocated $2,824. This will cover most meetings and most of their event costs.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis?
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.46.
Action request to approve SB-68-067, authorize funding for Pre-Dental Student Association.
You have the floor.
All right, this is another organization we all saw earlier this evening. They requested $12,000, which is over the Tier 3 limit. They were recommended $3,972. The reason for this is it will cover their general meetings and their events, and we decided not to cover their travel costs because they were wanting lodging for places to go that were within 2.5 to 3 hours of driving distance, and their reasoning is because they didn't want to leave at 8 in the morning. So that is the reasoning.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Maurer?
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? I'm seeing an objection from Senator Otten. We'll now move back into the debate period for this item. Are there Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Otten?
Yeah, I would just like to see Predental Student Association get a few more dollars, possibly just to send a student or two to that conference. Frankly, 2 to 3 hours of driving, you still need some sort of lodging. You can't do that back and forth every single day. So I'm sure that there's some way that we could find them at least $1,000 more just to kind of meet that $10,000 request where they're only receiving not even $4,000.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Beanie?
With the travel time, I'd say that was a large reason I personally voted in the Finance Commission for what they got. Multiple organizations on campus already do short competitions or stints to places within 2.5 to 3 hours, then do a physical activity, and then come back. And so I think college tours, which is what they're mostly looking for, are a reasonable expectation to have a 2.5-hour drive, then a 2.5-hour drive back.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Owens?
In watching the videos as well, I had a similar sentiment as a lot of the other commissioners and making their decision. I would also like to see this organization at more dollars because I think they're great. And in past, they've always been lovely and have had some really great events. But being cognizant of the budget, I'm also thinking of like, who would we take that funding from? And those organizations are also strapped for cash. So I will vote in favor of this allocation simply because I think the Finance Commission did make a really tough choice there to allocate this number. Although, of course, I would like this to be higher, and I really do appreciate this org coming to speak to the Senate. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world where we have infinite amount of money. But I hope in the future, if we do have more money, I would love to be able to give it to this organization.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this motion. Advisor Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 19 in favor, with 20 in favor, 2 against, and 0 abstention, the motion carries.
Before we go into 10.47, I will hand over the chair to Vice President Nguyen for the duration of the next motion.
We will now move into 10.47. The clerk may read. Act on request to approve SB-68-068, authorized funding for pre-medical student association. You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $3,000. They were allocated $2,427. This will cover their largest event, but no promotional materials.
Are there any questions? We will now move into the debate period. Is anyone willing to speak? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. With 21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention, the motion carries.
I will now pass it over back to Speaker Fawn.
Thank you. We'll now move into 10.48.
Action request to approve SB-68-69, authorize funding for Psychology Club.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $2,300. They were allocated $1,765. This will cover most of their events and some of their general meetings.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 21 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention, the motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now move into 10.49.
Action request to approve SP-68-070, authorize funding for Psychology Graduate Student Organization.
You have the floor.
All right, they requested $7,000. They were allocated $4,413. This will cover their events and meetings and a partial conference cost.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 22 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions, the motion carries.
Senator Mallard?
Act on request, I'm sorry, that was not right. Motion to approve SB-68-71 through SB-68-73 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Mungaravani, we will now move into 10.50.
Action request to approve SB-68-071, authorize funding for Redeemed Campus Fellowship.
You have the floor.
This organization requested $5,000. They were recommended $3,619. They do get quite a large amount of funding from their sister church. This allocation from SGA will cover some food and drinks and some promotional materials.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item.
The vote is now open. (19 in favor, 2 against, 1 abstention, and motion carries.
Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve SB-68-72 through SB-68-73 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Mungaravani, we'll now move into 10.51.
Action request to approve SB-68-072, authorize funding for Rocket Club.
You have
This organization requested $10,000. They were recommended $4,413. This is for electronics, build material, and for some of their general events. We will not be paying for their payload for their new rocket. And they have had a decent history of funding support on and off campus, so we're hoping that they can reach out for future funds.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Lewis?
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing objection from Senator Mungaravani, we'll move back into the debate period for this item. Are there any other senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. (19 in favor, 0 against, and 3 abstentions. The motion carries.
We will now move into 10.52.
Action request to approve SB-68-073, authorized funding for Shocker Gaming Club.
You have the floor.
This organization requested $1,500. They were allocated or recommended $0. The reason for this is no offense to the presenter, but it was one of the worst presentations I've seen. They could not justify their budget in any way possible, and with every question that we asked, they were not able to answer, and they pretty much said that they just eyeballed their budget. With being such a low amount, I'm hoping they can get some support from either the esports team or the Heskett Center.
Are there any senators that have questions? Senator Owens?
Could you elaborate a little bit more on what exactly were they asking for? And I know.
That is a great question.
Okay, great. That does help.
I would say a lot of things they were asking for were like hosting events, but when we asked, what specific line items went into those events, it was kind of hard to answer. And when we did get an answer, they couldn't tell us an exact amount or how they found those amounts. So.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum, Senator Otten?
I was just curious what tier organization they are. On the file that I have, it just has it as sports club, not necessarily a tier number like the other ones.
So they would be considered a Tier 1 organization.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Mallard?
Motion approved by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.53.
Action request to approve SB-68-074, authorized funding for Shocker Racing Baja SAE.
You have the floor.
All right, so this organization did file an exception. They requested $20,000. They were recommended $8,826. The reason for this is it will fully cover their competition cost and some parts for the car. Unfortunately, we were unable to fund their trip to the NASCAR races in Florida.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Owens?
This might be a Gabe question, but I know this organization typically requests a high dollar amount. Do you know how much they were approved for last year?
Advisor Fonseca?
Give me 1 second, I can pull it up.
While we're waiting on that answer, are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Archimeno?
Were they initially looking for funding to go to like a NASCAR race?
Yeah, so they pretty much had three main components of their budget. One was the car, one was the competition, and one was travel for this NASCAR event in Florida.
Are there any further questions from Senators? Senator Otten?
So just to clarify, that NASCAR trip was not a competition, or was it?
No, it was just a travel experience, and we're not covering that.
Are there any further questions from Senators? Senator Owens?
Yeah, I just can't remember in the video, but did they state that they had the outside funding that they've had in the previous, like sponsorships or things like that? And does that play any factor into the $8,000 figure of like hoping that those kind of constitute a little bit closer to what they need, or?
So they do currently receive a WSU Tech sponsorship, and that is mainly for materials for building the car. They also do charge $20 dues. So we are wanting to cover partial costs for building the car for their competition. Their sponsorship and partnership, I guess, with WSU Tech, and their dues will help cover the rest of that car completion.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum at this time? Dr. Fonseca, do you have the total?
Yeah, last year they were approved for $9,141.37.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Dr. Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 18 in favor, 0 against, and 4 abstentions, the motion carries.
We will now move into 10.54.
Action request to approve SB-68-075, authorize funding for SHPE, Leading Hispanics in STEM.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $34,450 with no exception. They were recommended $8,826. The reason for this is it will help cover their conference because they have quite a few members attending because it is such a large organization. It would also help cover some of their large event costs and some of their professional development sessions.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period on this item. Advisor Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 18 in favor, 0 against, 4 abstentions, the motion carries.
Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve SB-68-76 through SB-68-80.
Are there any, to clarify, are you motion to approve this by unanimous consent?
By unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. Before we move into 10.60, I will now hand the chair over to Vice President Nguyen.
We will now move into 10.60. The clerk may read.
Action request to approve SB-68-081, authorize funding for Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $10,000. They were recommended $4,413. Also cover their general meetings, general events, and parts of their national convention.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Agamemno?
Are we supposed to be saying something on the projector? That's it.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period. Would anyone wish to speak? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. Missing 3 votes. With 18 in favor, 1 against, and 3 abstentions, the motion carries.
I will pass it back over to Speaker Fawn.
Senator Mallard.
I motion to approve by unanimous consent SP-68-82 through SP-68-90.
Are there any objections to this motion? I will object to this motion. I will make another motion, so I will move to approve SB-68-082 through SB-68-089. Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion is adopted as such. Before we move into our next item, I will hand the chair off to Vice President Nguyen.
We will now move into 10.69. The clerk may read.
Akron request to approve SB-68-090, authorized funding for Vietnamese Student Association.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $15,000, which was over the tier limit. They were recommended $7,943, which was their minimum operating budget, and it helps with their general meetings, their event, and the conference, as well as the conference that they're hosting here with the KU chapter.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period. Would anyone wish to speak? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. With 19 in favor, 0 against, and 3 abstentions, the motion carries.
Before we move forward, I move to extend the meeting to 11 o'clock p.m. Is there a second for this motion? Seconded by Senator Hatch. We will move into the debate period. Does anyone wish to speak on debate on this item? Senator Hatch.
This is not to say that we have to go till 11, and we do need to get this done so people can get their money. So vote with that in mind.
Senator Mallard.
I think we will get done way before that, just saying.
Okay, are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis.
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Dr. Fonseca, to clarify, we cannot approve this by unanimous consent. Is that correct?
Yeah, technically not, since it's a privilege vote.
With that, Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this motion. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. With 15 in favor, 6 against, and 0 abstention, the motion, with 1 abstention, the motion carries.
We will now move into 10.70.
Upon request to approve SB-68-091, authorize funding for walk-in and roll-in costumes.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $2,500. They're allocated $2,207. We were going to allocate the full amount after the 11.7% decrease. It was lowered to this. Their organization essentially builds costumes for handicapped children, pretty much making their wheelchairs or mobility devices look like, real-world costumes like Cars or Moana or something like that. We think it's a great cause, so we wanted to fund them fully.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca.
The vote is now open. With 20 in favor, 1 against, and 1 abstention, the motion carries.
Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve SB-68-92 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.72.
Upon request to approve SB-68-093, authorize funding for Wichita Linux Users Group.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $7,500. They're recommended $4,590. The reason for this is because it is their bare minimum amount. They do host a lot of large workshops on this campus, and they collaborate with a lot of other organizations. It also helps with some of their equipment for those workshops, as well as partial of their general meetings.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Mum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period on this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. With 20 in favor, 0 against, 2 abstentions, the motion carries.
Senator Mallard.
Motion to approve SB-68-94 through SB-68-97 through unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to these motions? Seeing an objection from Senator Brown, we'll now move into 10.73.
Upon request to approve SB-68-094, authorize funding for Wichita State Cricket Club.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $7,000. Their final recommendation was $0, and this is because they did not present.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move to 10.74.
Action request to approve SB-68-095, authorized funding for Wichita State Golf Club.
You have the floor.
This group requested $3,000. Their recommendation amount was $883. The reason for this is because they don't have very many organized events, so they need to do more of that in the future. This will cover about 1.5 of their events throughout the year.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing an objection from Senator Beam, we will now move back into the debate period for this motion. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period.
The vote is now open. With 20 in favor, 0 against, and 2 abstentions, the motion carries.
We will now move into 10.75.
Action request to approve SB-68-096, authorized funding for Wichita State Men's Soccer Club.
All right, this is another group that we heard earlier this evening. The request amount was $8,000. The recommendation amount was $2,824. The reason for this was to cover lodging costs, their league fee, and partial equipment costs.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Miller?
Earlier today, it was alleged that you hadn't given them proper consideration in the deliberations for the Finance Committee. Could you give a little bit more information about that, or what processes you went through to determine how much money they were awarded?
So the Finance Commission, we're not comparing any organizations to one another. This is a case-by-case basis. We look at, their line items, and, we just try to think what is possible to be able to fund their organizations at. So,
Are there any additional questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Otten?
What sort of line items did you remove, resulting in the roughly $3,000 from their original $8,000?
yeah, so some of the line items that we got rid of were their referees, their jerseys, and their travel.
Are there additional questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Argimeno?
How much money have we allocated in the past?
So we have actually not funded them in the past, at least to my knowledge. Prior to this year, all sports clubs were funded by the recreation. They have Trent Kohler, he is their advisor, and he handled the pot of money, and it was allocated to them. So this was the first year of us seeing any sports clubs.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Owens?
Yeah, I hope to get just a little bit of clarity on, did the Finance Commission make considerations on, the funding for both the men's soccer team and the women's soccer team? I know that it was a conversation or discussion. Would love to get your perspective.
Yeah, like I said, we don't like to compare different organizations to one another. I don't think that's fair. We could do that for every single organization. Like I said, we go by a line basis and do what we thought was right.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Sauls?
Why do we feel that we needed to cut the referee fund or the money for the referees?
The Finance Commission decided on it. I don't know the exact wordage that was used. These finance commissioners, like I said, they study the notes and they look at the presentations and they come up with a general allocation that they want to see. They presented it to the rest of the Finance Commission and there was a vote and that was approved.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Senator Boyd?
What about the jersey cut costs?
Like I said before.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt. Student government doesn't have expenditure authority when funding is approved. So once a dollar amount is set by the Senate, the organization gets to decide how to spend that money within the rules that the Senate has established. So even if the commission has made recommendations on areas in which they may not want allocations to go to, ultimately the student government gives that responsibility to the organization to determine how to spend the pot of money that they're provided. We are on the flip side, we're only looking to make sure they're not spending on things that they can't spend money on. So as you all go through this, I think limit your question to the fact of the commission doesn't have the authority to say they can't spend money on this, they can't spend money on this. Only the bylaws have set that authority, and none of these expenditures that have come up are anything that are prohibited by the bylaws. So just as you continue to think about questions, that wouldn't be in the purview of the student government since we've delegated that authority to the groups.
Are there any further questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Dr. Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 16 in favor, 4 against, and 2 abstentions, the motion carries.
We will now move into Senator Mallard.
A motion to approve SB-68-97 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.77.
Act on request to approve SB-68-098, authorize funding for Wichita State Society of Women Engineers.
You have the floor.
All right. This organization requested $12,000. It was over the $10,000 limit. Our recommended amount is $4,854. The reason for this is it will cover their events, travel for one of their conferences, and then also most of their general meetings and tabling.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period for this item. Advisor Fonseca?
The vote is now open. With 18 in favor, 0 against, 4 abstentions, the motion carries.
We will now move into Senator Mallard.
Sorry. Act on, oh my God, sorry. Motion to approve SB-68-99 through SB-68-101 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.81.
Action request to approve SB-68-101, authorize funding for Wichita State University Women's Club Soccer.
Senator Maurer, your mic is still on. Treasurer Bum, you have the floor.
Could you repeat the bill?
Action request to approve SB-68-101, authorize funding for Wichita State University Women's Club Soccer.
Mr. Speaker, that one was already covered. We're on 102.
Action request to approve SB-68-102, authorize funding for women in cybersecurity at Wichita State University.
All right, this organization requested $10,000. The recommended amount was $5,296. This was to fully cover their conference, some of their speaker events, and some of their workshops.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak during this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. Advisor Fonseca?
The vote is open.
Senator Owens, do you have something?
With 18 in favor, 0 against, 4 abstentions, the motion carries.
Senator Owens?
I motion to approve SB 103 all the way to SB 105 with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to the unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motions are adopted as such. We move into 10.85.
Action request to approve SB-68-106, authorize funding for WSU IEEE Student Branch.
You have the floor.
All right, this organization requested $4,860. The recommended amount was $2,648. The reason for this was to cover some of their workshops and then fully cover their circuit competition.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Bum? Seeing none, we'll now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Otten?
I move to pass with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion is adopted as such. Senator Lewis?
I move to approve SB-68-107 by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion is adopted as such. Before we move into Section 11 adjournment, I just want to say how proud I am of you all for going through this process. I appreciate you taking your time, going to... Treasurer Bum, do you have something? Okay. I'm so proud of you for sitting through all these bills for today, in addition to hearing the justifications and reasoning for these organizations throughout the day, and also being able to hear the students and listen to their feedback regarding public forum. One thing that I would like to know next week is that we are currently scheduled to have committee of the whole and Senate committees and Senate, so please keep an eye out for that communication. But Treasurer Bum, do you have something to say?
I was pretty much going to copy what he said, but I appreciate each and every one of you. I know this is a long process, and I thank you all for asking great questions, sticking up for your fellow Shockers, and, but eventually we got it done. So thank you all.
And with that, we will now move into Section 11 adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stay on adjournment until Wednesday, September 3rd at 7:30 p.m. I hereby adjourn this meeting at 10:09 p.m.